Hello everyone, it's Grim. I've finished the earlier video, the review of the Arachnophobia pack, and I've had some time to play with it and build a build that I'm actually quite pleased with. I scrapped all of the internal parts of the Arachnophobia pack and I replaced one of the autocannons with a purple part, the Whirlwind. It's turned out nicely. I've got it completely set in to the rear armor, and the front autocannons are they have a fair amount of protection with this plate. I up-armored the thing dramatically. It's now it has 1913 structure points, whereas the tarantula itself had, let's load it. I remember it being weak. Only 1389. I do have quite a bit higher power score, but the cab is armored now. Let me get back to the creeper. I'm calling it the creeper. This is version 2 of it. I've got plenty of space for decorations, but that's not what's really important. In order to keep the build small, I did have to put parts underneath between the frame here. Otherwise it was just going to be extended out back way too far and would be difficult to armor properly. As it is, this creates a very, very stocky looking build. Normally it would just look like that. Here, you pretty much got a tank. The legs are hard as nails. You don't have to worry about them getting popped off. I very rarely lose a leg before my cab, and my guns are already gone, so it doesn't make any difference having more than these 4. You can put 6 on here, just completely unnecessary, and the reduction in your acceleration and speed is just not going to be worth it in my opinion. And what I found is the entire build is extremely durable. The Steppe Spider. It's kind of hard to remember that over tarantula. I'm not sure about the name, but, you know, let Crossout do what they want to do. It's barely a medium cab. I could easily see this thing replacing, or being the next step up from the Jawbreaker, but the Jawbreaker is a heavy cab in and of itself. Everything's armored. Layers upon layers of protection. The ramming parts, the plows, are completely unnecessary. You do not ram in this. I have them on here as a decoration, and the bull face has kind of become a signature look for me. But let's take apart half this build so we can see inside. Show you what it looks like. So, originally I had the cab more forward and I tried to put the engine in the back. It was impossible for me to keep the purple autocannon in the back with the engine as well, so I kind of just went back to my typical style, where I've got the engine in the front and mods in the back. I don't have any support mods, other than the scope, which is directly in front. I had a lot of trouble figuring out what to do with this scope. I tried putting it behind, let's see if I can, like right up in here, when the autocannons were higher up, but I kept getting my view blocked. This seems to be alright. It's frontal, but it's got so much protection from these plows that I don't lose it very often. It does mean that I have the unfortunate, there's an unfortunate reality to the thing. Yeah, it looks forward. The plow gets in the way a little bit, not so bad, but I do have a very limited firing angle. But since this is a long-range tool anyways, it seems to be mitigated by that. Underside is very heavily armored. I have yet to lose gas tanks. It's just not happened. Got the radio, the radar. The radar is not very well connected to everything, but again, it's not something I lose on a regular basis, so I'm not too worried about it. What is there of note when it comes to this build? There is a really cool trick that I kind of like that is pretty much exclusive to these walkers. And that's when I do lose my guns and I'm up on somebody, I can just crawl up on their face. I don't think it's going to happen with this walker, but I'll crawl up on their face and detonate right on top of their cab. And with my generators and gas tank underneath like that, it does a lot of damage. So let's do a round. I do like the autocannons for this build. It's slow, so you don't have to worry about losing your... You don't have to worry about messing with your gun angle too much, because autocannons are slow. They take a long time to swivel. It's not a big deal in this. I typically try to stay back, you know, for obvious reasons. They're autocannons. You do not want to get up close to people with them. And it just makes my armor more effective, being further away, as well as I can keep my front facing towards the enemy more effectively. If you get right up close, it's almost impossible to dance with these things. But let's see. I do have a little bit of problems with the gun depression, but it's worth it in order to keep the guns protected, especially with these autocannons. Let's go ahead and kill whoever this is. Little tiny vehicle. I'm still having a little bit of trouble leading my targets. I haven't gotten that good of a feel for what autocannons are, how they function, but I'm learning. It was the same thing with the hovers and the direct fire missiles. It just takes time. See, I've already lost one of the front ones. I tried to put the purple autocannon, the big one, in the front at first, but it just died too easily, and I lost a lot of frontal armor because of it. So I moved it in back, put the little ones up front. They're closer together, so I lose a little bit of effectiveness from them, but this works. Yeah, I didn't exactly get to show you how tough this thing is in that match. I feel like I got nuked. But we'll do another round. I am amazed that that thing kicked back like that so far. Oh well. Stats, how do we do? I do also like the portrait that you get with this. The 4 eyes thing it's kinda cool. Makes me happy. Alright. So, all of that considered, I really like what happened with the legs and the tarantula cab. You get the 40% bonus to speed with your legs for having this particular cabin. And, well, they need it. Because even with it, it's just an incredibly slow vehicle. You don't really have tonnage issues with my engine, which I need the engine, in my opinion, because it helps your acceleration dramatically. With the engine and the legs, I can max out my tonnage without, you know, you get every bit of your mass before it turns red. There is no yellow. Excuse me. Anyways, I was saying, I like the update because legs walkers are finally usable. It was just not worth the investment prior to this patch. Here, I'm gonna self-destruct on this guy because this is exactly what I was wanting to show you. Kaboom. Didn't do quite as much damage as I'd like, but you get up on people's faces and you demo. I'm gonna leave. Anyways, Walker, with this cab, and pretty much only this cab, is finally a viable option. I would put it in the Jawbreaker to compare, except that that would make this video entirely too long, and I just wanted to keep it kind of short. Anyways, I hope you all like it. I hope this answers some questions for you about the new Walker stats. Y'all have a good one.